Psalm 29, a psalm of David. Ascribe to the Lord, O heavenly beings. Ascribe to the Lord glory and strength. Ascribe to the Lord the glory due his name. Worship the Lord in the splendor of holiness. The voice of the Lord is over the waters. The God of glory thunders. The Lord over many waters. The voice of the Lord is powerful. The voice of the Lord is full of majesty. The voice of the Lord breaks the cedars. The Lord breaks the cedars of Lebanon. He makes Lebanon to skip like a calf and Syrian like a young wild ox. The voice of the Lord flashes forth flames of fire. The voice of the Lord shakes the wilderness. The Lord shakes the wilderness of Kadesh. The voice of the Lord makes the deer give birth and strips the forests bare. And in his temple all cry, glory. The Lord sits enthroned over the flood. The Lord sits enthroned as King forever. May the Lord give strength to his people. May the Lord bless his people with peace. This is God's word. In the days following the heavy rains here in Kenya, I followed the news as we did all. We all saw the terrible images of bridges and roads washed out, people sitting on top of buildings and buses, tossing ropes to one another. Of course, we all know what happened in Mai Mahiu. Following the heavy rains there, water that had been building above the town finally pushed through in a flood of mud and debris. 50 people died when they were swept away in the night as they slept. There was a heartbreaking BBC interview with a mzee from the town. As the waters rushed into his house, he prayed, God, you said you would not destroy people with waters of a flood again. Please help us. That's the elephant in the room when we show up on Sunday morning for worship. What do we do with the floods? What do we do when we wake up, look down in the valley and see the streak of mud where Mai Mahiu once was? How do we worship when these things are circling in our minds right before the service starts? It's hard sometimes, and we can't. Don't bother asking the mzee, at least not immediately after. He's not ready for it right now. In the aftermath of tragedies, I'm not hearing the words, naked I came, naked I go, blessed be the name of the Lord. And maybe David knew this when he wrote this psalm. He's dealt with tragedy before. Maybe he's had to tell one of his soldiers' families that their father wasn't coming home from battle today. David knew times when he neither bathed nor ate because of grief. He's also felt moments when he was inconsolable. And sometimes people aren't ready to worship just yet. It's 10 a.m. though, and the service is about to begin. So David doesn't tell us to do anything just yet. You can just sit in your seats and watch from the side for a while. The worship leader signals to the heavenly beings first. You there, yeah, you, heavenly beings, ascribe glory and strength to the Lord. Ascribe to the Lord the glory due his name. Worship the Lord. The worship service begins with the heavenly beings praising God. Tell God how strong he is. Tell him how majestic he is. It's as if the worship leader is aware of the heaviness on our hearts, like he's aware of the elephant in the room, the things that people have carried into the worship service. So he addresses it head on. The Lord is over the waters, he declares. And when I hear the words over the waters, I have the image of the Spirit at the beginning, when everything was formless and void, disorganized and dangerous, uninhabitable and hostile. He's over the waters like the Spirit when he was about to roll up his sleeves and speak. So he speaks. The voice goes out. The voice of the Lord thunders, like a rumbling in a storm when it's still dark and brooding. You can hear him, that rumbling thunder. One moment you hear him here, the next you hear him over there. Like the Spirit, you don't know where it comes from or where it goes. He could appear anywhere, at any time. His voice thunders everywhere. The voice of the Lord is powerful. It's majestic. The Lord's voice is so powerful, it breaks the mighty cedars of Lebanon. And when he speaks, he breaks them into pieces, splitting, shattering, splintering. Then, what was only ever a rumbling sound suddenly appears, and you see it for the first time. It flashes as lightning, as hot as fire, and it splits the sky in two. You feel the thunderous roar in your chest, and you dare not move. Where will it strike next? The voice of God is on the other side of the world already, shaking the deserts of Kadesh. His voice is splitting the oak trees in faraway forests. He is great and powerful. His voice can split the trees. It is so powerful. His voice can create the heavens and the earth, and the birds and the trees and the beasts of the field. He can breathe life into the dirt. His voice is so powerful it can call out the dead to rise. His voice can cast out demons. It can command us to get up, take our mat, and walk. God is great. The service is nearing a close. The heavenly beings have done their work. They have praised while we were unable. Now the worship leader is talking to us. We weren't ready for it at the beginning, but maybe now you're ready when you hear his next words. And in his temple all cry, "Glory," he declares. Yes, he is great. Glory to his name. When we started, the waters were there. There were the floods. And they're still there. But the one whose voice speaks, who thunders and breaks and shakes and twists, he is enthroned on the waters. He is enthroned over Mathaire, Maimayu, the Tana Delta and river, the coast and western provinces, and in the great rift valley where the waters pool. He is enthroned over it all. And David's final benediction for you? That God strengthens his people and gives them peace. Do you hear that voice also? The one that speaks, peace, be still. Yes, God is great. May his name be praised.